Good afternoon and welcome back to day 8 of the 29 days love challenge. Again, my executive producer is at work, and so this is my third time being the host and the executive producer at the same time. So I'm back here. If you see me looking down, I'm pushing buttons and all those kind of different things, but welcome back, man. This is powerful. Let's get some I guess some house cleaning done, man, right here, right now. Uh, let's get some stuff straight right now. But I am excited about this challenge. Yeah, we I mean, we shouldn't need a challenge with what's going on in our world today. Uh, you know, the world needs love. I think that's a song too. I rather see expressions of love than hate, right? I rather see response rather than reaction, and so I got sparked by this several years ago. Joyce Myers created a book called The Love Revolution, and I participated. I think it was she did like a month long presentation on how the power of love could transform anything. If whether it's an atomic bomb, love can trans has the power to reduce that. And the thing is, I'm a big athlete, right? So I love. I think maybe the Olympics is coming up, maybe it's not. But I love the Olympics. And one of the things I love about the Olympics is because, you know what? Over the years, when you look at the history, we literally have stopped wars so that we could participate in the Olympics. I mean, wars come to a halt, right? And then we start doing track and field and swimming and all those different kind of things like that. So the power of sports has to do. If we can do it in sports, we can do it in real life. And one of the parts of it, yeah, I like the sports, but one of the most powerful things about every Olympics that I have seen was when all the athletes, all the coaches and everybody get together and they march around in the parade with all their flags and they're shaking hands and hugging each other, right? I mean, I believe that's what God intended, that we should live life like that we will find places where we could unify and show our diversity because we're all God's children. And so, um, again, here's some house cleaning, right? You know, if you, here's the question: if someone has shown an act of violence, not act of violence, but an act of kindness, because there's a whole lot of acts of violence going on. But if someone has showed a act of kindness, it could be more than one for you, right? Then uh, I'd like you to put it in the chat. Or if over the last several days, you have shown an act of kindness, I like you to put it in the chat as well. And because what we're doing over these 29 days is that we're practicing, right? And I know you guys at work and it's lunchtime, right? It's lunchtime, but this is where we're asking you every day for 29 days to pause while you're eating lunch, drinking coffee, whatever you're doing. Pause for 30 minutes, right? And join me in 29 days love challenge. I mean, this is powerful. And we've been going over some things over the week. One of my favorite scriptures is that it says, but the fruit, not fruits, but the fruit of the spirit is love. And then love has attributes, things that just blossom out of love, right? And we've been talking about some of those things. And it says there's no law against love, right? I mean, it's limitless. And so today I want to focus on the word. The word is goodness. We talked about love. We talked about joy. We talked about peace. Talked about patience, right? And we've been in this challenge for random acts of kindness, right? And it's just been a blessing. I mean, it says here that love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud, it is not rude, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered, it keeps no record of wrong, it does not delight in evil, it rejoices in truth, it always protects, it always trusts, it always hopes, and it always perseveres. Love never fails. I mean, that's awesome all by itself. And so um do this for me. If you're on, I'm sure you uh like or subscribe. This is part of the Blueprint podcast. Like or subscribe either on Facebook or YouTube. Lowe's Motor Blueprint on Facebook and Lowe's Motor Blueprint on YouTube. Like and subscribe, right? And look, as I did in the 31 days, first the new year, 31-day uh, wisdom challenge. I participated for 31 days in the wisdom challenge, right? And I learned so much going through the book of Proverbs about wisdom. I learned so much how they broke down those scriptures and how they applied them, a practical application to everyday life. So um, do that for me. Share this, right? And remember, they stay on. They stay on the Facebook and they stay on YouTube. And if even if you don't see it, share it with somebody, and then later on get on and check it out, and then you can catch up. Right? You can go back to day one. There's some powerful things being said. My son Isaiah was a blessing. Was a blessing yesterday. He was sitting here with me. Now he's on the road with his wheelchair basketball team. They're playing in a tournament in Alabama, right? And so he's been on the road since 12 o'clock last night. He texted me a few minutes ago, said he's still got 7 hours to go, and he got to play on Friday. So if you would do that for me, it'd be truly a blessing, because this could spread like wildfire, right? If love can just spread, man, this is so powerful. And his mother Teresa says, you know, if you judge people, you have no time to love them. If you judge people, right? And so I want to show you a quick video, and I mean it is quick, but I think it'll set the stage before I bring on my guests. Um, it'll set the stage really for um, what we've been talking about these last eight days. Check this out. It's only 39 seconds.
My friend, you are just adorable.
That I love it. I mean, when you're young like that, man, love has no color. And I want to have to join with me is Steve Vaccaro. I'm gonna say Dr. Steve Vaccaro. Steve, welcome to the 29 Days Love Challenge, and I want to welcome you here. And and let me, hey, what's your thoughts, man, when you think about, well, what we attempt to do in around love? Talk about that in your experience. 'Cause Steve is a part of the chapters wrap. I want to say that thank you, man. With the time I was at the Boys and Girls Club, all the time that you showed me kindness, right? And that you showed me love. And when I wrote my book, and you asked me, hey man, I want to help you set up a book signing. You set it all up, and we went over to in Long Island, and one of the Barnes and Nobles over there, and we did a book signing. Um, and you brought me on to talk about my book. You constantly, consistently invite me to come on and on your television, chapters rap, radio. You invite me constantly, man. You show kindness and you show love to me, and and I do appreciate your friendship immensely. I mean, so talk about you showing these acts of kindness, and then sometimes they have been random acts of kindness in regards to me, but you're a person who's always giving, got a big heart, always giving, always sharing. And one of the things I've said to people over the last 8 days, um, love seeks for nothing in return, right? Because some people will look at acts of kindness, random acts of kindness. Oh, I'm gonna do that, but they're looking for some reward, right? That's not, to me, that's not necessarily an act of kindness, right? It's the love is unconditional. So what you've been doing to help people start their shows, help people write their books, it's just been unconditional. I mean, you look for nothing in return, and so talk a little bit about what you think love could accomplish in this day and time.
Well, first of all, Lowe's, I mean, I have always looked up to you and your family and just the integrity, the character, and the love and respect that you give for your own family, to your church family, the Boys and Girls Club family, everybody you're in contact with. It's so inspiring. And I've learned many years ago when I first met you where your heart was and what your goals were, because being a part of the Boys and Girls Club in Mount Vernon for so long, I really learned from that. And even today now, I'm the first mental health therapist there that the Boys and Girls Club of Mount Vernon has. And I almost feel like it's an extension of what you've been doing all along, meeting so many young people and their families. I have to tell you a couple of stories. First of all, I want to address the whole Olympic thing. The Summer Olympics are going to be in Paris this year, in the
Mm.
heart of the city. So that alone is going to bring people together in a way that's never been done before. Usually it's on the outskirts or they make a man-made village, but it's going to be right downtown Paris. So that alone is bringing peace and love to Paris and France so the world can see. And I think what you're doing to spread that love is so very important. And the Olympics this year might capture that in a bigger way, international way. So sports does bring people together, but having it in the heart of Paris, I think that's the message behind that too. And also, I just went to a trip with the Boys and Girls Club. We took a college tour, and we went to Maryland. We went to two universities, Morgan State and University of Maryland at Eastern Shore. We brought 6 kids with us, and one got accepted already to Morgan State. So when you see the love that's being done on these campuses, and one of the campuses had flags around the world, around the whole inner structure of the campus. And I
Mm.
asked, what do the flags represent? And they represent the different places where our students come from. And I thought that was such a cool idea because it's showing the world and showing the other students that it's about bringing people together, not tearing people apart. So I think these messages in life that we have to pick up on, we have to understand that it's about unity, bringing people together, not about division and pulling people apart. I think the other thing I want to mention too, that video is a great video. That's unconditional love about two young kids seeing each other, black and white, coming together, no color, hugging each other. They genuinely want to be together. I always ask myself, when does racism start? When does this all start? because if we keep loving our hearts from the top to the bottom, it would never start at all. So that video captures that, and I looked to that, and I have to say one more thing too. I did a recent you're familiar with the term passport to manhood from the Boys and Girls Club. I've been running a group there, and I said, what is the thing to do when you find a wallet on the street? Well, let me tell you, I've gotten all kinds of responses to that. And it took me a half hour. There were young people that got the heart of the matter, but there were others that didn't. And we had to work through it to show that act of kindness, to show what's on the other end when you lose something, when you lose money. How's that other person feeling? So we have to take that pause, like you're doing, is to share that pause and to stop us. Okay, it's lunchtime, but maybe this is the best time to do it because we're so preoccupied with what's going on around us in our immediate circle that we have to take that pause. We have to take the time to pray for the food that we eat, to pray for the situation that we have. We've lost so many people during the pandemic. It's those acts of kindness, and it could be such a small thing, but it could be a big thing in the hearts of young people. And I think that's what's important. What stays with someone will stay with them for a lifetime. So I'm honored that you've asked me to come on your show because I admire the work that you're doing after the Boys and Girls Club. You have a whole platform. Obviously, you're very busy doing what you're doing, but you're empowering people to take that same position. Let's take a step back, a spiritual step back, but remember where we came from and what we all need to do.
Yeah. And I think, guys like ourselves, I recognize your acts of kindness, just from the inception, from the time we met. Some people can be not genuine, right? But I found that your spirit has been genuine, from the time you got on the board for Boys and Girls Club in Long Island. I think in Roosevelt, Long Island, and you was trying to turn that situation around, right?
Yeah.
And you asked me to come by for a fundraiser, right? And you were trying to salvage or save that Boys and Girls Club. I mean, you didn't have to do that,
right?
You know what I'm saying? But that particular community, they needed a Boys and Girls Club. I mean, badly, right? We need places like the Boys and Girls Club, particularly in Mount Vernon, and I always say that for me, when people talk about from my experience in terms of the Boys and Girls Club, it was never really about going to the gym and the game room and upstairs to the arts and craft or the wood shop or all the things that was going on in the Boys and Girls Club at the time. It was about going in a building where I knew people cared about me. I mean, the CJs, the Miss Browns, the James Jones, Mr. White, Mr. Stewart, Billy Thomas. I mean, it was going in and felt like I could release my trust. Right. That these people were going to keep me safe and they were going to speak into my life and they were going to manifest all the fruit, of the spirit. They want to manifest love and kindness and gentleness, right? But I said yesterday, love is a dove and a serpent. It comes with the hug and it comes with discipline.
Right.
It comes with structure. Because if you don't have those things, you can't properly have love.
Right.
So, you kind of getting an experience at the club that I got as a member and as a staff person.
Right.
The
Right.
Boys and Girls Club. Yeah.
And you know what, Los, too? I mean, professionally and personally, we've all been on a journey. And my journey started, I was a product of the foster care system when I was a kid. So bouncing around to different places and different experiences. It was hard back then, but I would do it all over again because it taught me what it meant to be on the other side of adversity, what it meant to live in a challenging situation. What I remember what other kids were going through if I was at a shelter or something. I remember the conversations we have. I remember leaving a situation when you make friends and you leave, and there were no cell phones, there was no contact. You just didn't see them anymore. I often think about those young people. Where are they today? So it's almost like a full circle moment of going to the Boys and Girls Club, because now, in the role that I'm in, I'm able to bridge what's going on at home, in the school, and at the club, where they've never kind of had that before, where I'm in a situation where, and I learned from yourself and colleagues that that's so needed, because when the bell rings after school, 3:10 or 2:57, whatever that is, what happens to them to the next day? So those acts of kindness that I'm trying to empower others to do, you're doing on these podcasts, and I commend you for taking this challenge. And I think the word challenge is appropriate, because we all need to be challenged. If we're not challenged or have a little bit of anxiety within us to make a change, to pivot, then we're going to lose sight of what we really need to be doing. And I think in the overall picture is what we're all God's children. So we all should be supporting, loving each other, doing these acts of kindness, random acts of kindness, without expecting anything in return. It's just part of who you are. If everybody took that approach, which we're trying to do, then this world will be a whole different place.
Oh yeah, and I think like most of the organizations, Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, or Cub Scouts, a lot of things. These words: be kind, be courteous, yes sir, no sir, excuse me. These common courtesies that we neglect to teach today. To be respectful to adults, to say yes sir and no sir. I mean, manners and ethics, morals and values, right, are not taught,
Right.
and so when they're not taught, how can they be displayed?
Right.
So that's what happened at the Boys and Girls Club. We learned to walk in the door, take our hat off,
Mm-hmm.
right? We learned to hold the door for somebody when somebody else was coming in, whether it be male or female,
Right.
right? I mean, so we learned so many different things, that if they're taught today consistently, right? We believe that love is the remnant that will transform and change a world.
No doubt. And I think it has to start now. I mean, the world has changed, and we see what's going on overseas, and people are confused. People are so desensitized to what's going on, and everybody's wrapped up in their own world. Sometimes it seems like we have to broaden that out. We have to empower, we have to educate and enlighten, what's affecting people around the world, and how can we pivot or change things around so that your inner core changes, your family changes, your community changes, and the goal is for the world to change. So, I mean, it has to start with platforms like this,
Hmm.
because we all have to be reminded, we all have to be challenged, because it's easy to kind of sit back and say the next person will do it, or what's in it for me, or I'm not getting anything out of this. What you're getting out of it is making this world a better place. And doing acts of kindness, it should be in everybody's DNA, everybody's being, but we have to challenge people to get to that part.
Right. And I know it can be tough, different environments. Like when I first went to West Virginia, right, and I hadn't had my license, so I went over to the motor vehicle, and everybody was like, "Hey, sir, may I help you? Oh, what do you need me to do?" And I know it's different between Morgantown, West Virginia, and New York, but the common courtesy, and everything was there, right? And so when I came back and went to the motor vehicles to get my license, changed over, they had an attitude. What you want? What do you want? There was a difference in how I was used to 4 years of this courteous kindness, you know. So, but yeah, I mean,
But it's funny. I have a brief story. When I lived, I'm from New York, but I lived in Maryland, Baltimore for a number of years. The first time I went to the supermarket, I was kind of in a rush, being from New York, you're always in a rush, right?
Right.
So the lines are long, and I'm bebopping from one line to another, trying to get out of the store. It's quick because everybody's having a conversation with the cash register person. I'm thinking, what in the world is going on here? I'm never gonna get out of here. And so I finally pick a lane. I get up to the cash register, and she says, "Is everything all right?" I said, "Yeah. I'm just trying to get around." I said, "Oh, okay. I saw you bopping around a little bit." So she challenged me to say, "Buddy, you got to slow down a little bit. Just smell the flowers." So I believe what you just said wholeheartedly.
Yeah. So I'm gonna show one more video, and then we're gonna have a little final discussion here, and then we're gonna get out of here.
Okay.
But check out this video.
It was a sight worth stopping for. 3 young men helping an elderly couple struggling to get to their car.
Take it easy, y'all.
Sheriff's Deputy Kenesha Carnegie was driving by at the time.
As I was sitting there, I looked to my left and I noticed these young men helping this elderly couple. So I went over to assist them. I jumped out my truck, I went over to assist them. And when I got there, they kind of had it under control, So I thought at the time they looked really beautiful. That was a nice view to see, And I stepped back and I videoed them.
Watch as they carefully lift 89-year-old Rose Grease into her car. Rose's 100-year-old husband David stands nearby. The men don't leave until they make sure the couple is safely inside.
Thank you so much, fellas.
Yeah, no problem, bro.
I'm 100 years old.
Yeah, 100 years old? Yeah. That's good.
Thank you.
Kenesha says she hopes the video inspires others to lend a helping hand.
That's the beauty of it, to see them, to let their parents, even their parents, their mothers, their fathers, their grandparents, to see something. I didn't anticipate this to go viral. I didn't anticipate this at all.
Thank you.
All right, take it easy, Mom.
This is
Wow.
Yeah. I thought that's powerful. And the thing is, most of us will look at the video and we will focus on the sagging.
Right.
Guys got their pants down.
Yeah.
We won't look at that these 3 young men, right? Whatever they was doing, saw somebody in need,
Right.
and went to help. I mean, that's powerful. And you can't judge that. You just pray for those individuals and thank them for the opportunity that they gave an experience to an older couple that they will never forget.
Yeah. No, it's a beauty. You picked out another amazing video to showcase and to show the love and to do those random acts of kindness.
Yeah. So Steve, man, I want to say thank you, man. I tell you, it's quick. 30 minutes go poof, like that,
I'm just getting started.
I know. Every day we just get started, but it ends so quickly. But I wanted people to pause. I want people to enjoy their lunch or to pause for a moment. And we hope that this is like a pebble in the pond. We are expecting a ripple effect of this, and we hope that it will bring a kingdom mindset. I hope that it will change the world, one person at a time. So
God bless.
Thanks a lot, man.
God bless you and your family.
I'm gonna show these last 2 videos.
Okay.
And they're gonna be quick, and then I will not come back. Steve will not come back.
Okay.
But I play this one every day, and people have been blessed by it. And then I'll show the outro.
Thanks, Los. God bless.
All right, Steve. God bless you.
Thank you.
A.D. Williams once said, "Imagine what 7 billion humans could accomplish if we loved and respected one another." Just imagine. Imagine if there was no greed. Imagine if there was no comparison. If everyone was running their own race, but cheering for all others at the same time. Maybe we'll never see that in our lifetime. But what we all can do is start with ourselves. Start with yourself. Choose to lift others up. Choose to set the example of kindness and integrity. the example of compassion and understanding. There's a quote that says, no matter how educated, talented, rich, or cool you believe you are, how you treat people ultimately tells all. Integrity is everything. It really is. Who you are is far more important than what you have, and it will always be. Who you are is measured by how you make others feel. Be kind to each other. In a world where you can be anything, be kind. Choose to be the change you wish to see in the world. Decide you will not wait for someone else. You will set the example. Be kind. Because you never know how much that person is suffering inside. You never know the difference your words can make, the difference your presence can make, the difference you can make to one human life. Be the reason someone believes in the goodness of humanity. Be the reason someone else decides to make a difference in others. Be the influence you want to see more of. Always do what is right, not what is easy in the moment. Kindness spreads like a virus. When you do good to another, that person does better to those they come in contact with. You really can make a big difference in the world today and every other day. Anne Frank said, in the long run, the sharpest weapon of all is a kind and gentle spirit. No one has ever made themselves great by showing how small another is. Be kind and always build others up to the best of your ability. Treat everyone with the same level of kindness that you would like for yourself. Not because everyone is nice, but because you are. Because karma makes no mistakes. Because it is right. Because you have integrity. Because you want this world to be better when you leave than when you arrive.